Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw. Today I'm doing a concert review of the concert I attended last night on October 24th, 2013. In order of appearance at this concert was The Safety Fire, The Contortionist, The Faceless, and headlining Between the Bear to Me, playing Parallax 2 Future Sequence in its entirety. Wow. Anyways, let's just start talking about this concert. So I got there, and I didn't know anybody there, so I just had to start talking to random people around and basically just talking about what bands they're coming to see. And most of the people I talked to was basically saying that they're only here mainly for Between the Bear to Me, and that two guys actually said that they didn't know any of the bands except for Between the Bear to Me. So this was their first experience of the Safety Fire, the Contortionist, and the Faceless. So I told them that, it's going to be a fun night, and so, because usually these shows are really good. The Safety Fire opened right up with the show. They played 6 songs. 5 of them came from the 2013 release I reviewed earlier this year, Mouth of Swords. And so when I saw that they were opening the show, I was really excited. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I actually know the opening band of these shows, so that's pretty cool. The Safety Fire did an amazing job with the 6 songs they got to play. The only thing I have to say is that two little gripes, but the gripes are not with the band's performance or the song choices or any of the thing. I think that's wrong with the band. I think it's the sound person or something, because two major things. Number one, the vocalist, sometimes when he was singing or growling in the mic, that his voice was not coming through fully, and it's kind of hard to really understand or hear what he's saying over the loudness of the drums and the bass. And the other thing is the guitars as well. It sounded like not most of the time, but part of the time, that the guitar parts were not getting fully, heard by the audience, because see, when they were performing those 5 tracks that I know so well, because I kept listening to Mouth of Swords before I reviewed it, so I knew those tracks. I remember every little bits and pieces. It came back to me as I was hearing those tracks, and it's sad because I can remember what the things are, like the parts that are happening in the tracks, but you can't hear that through the sound system or the sound, because the guitars are not being fully blasted through. They're like, basically the drums are overpowering. But overall, I think the band did an amazing job performing live, but just those sound issues were causing problems, and I think that's why the crowd didn't really react fully to the band, because they did an amazing set. They sounded pretty good, except for those parts that were kind of not, getting through all the way. But regardless, Safety Fire did a pretty good job opening the show. The Contortionist is the second to come up. I'm not particularly familiar with all of their work. All the stuff I've heard of the Contortionist was very good, and so I wasn't like fully blind when this band came on stage of knowing what's going to happen. But the thing I have to say about the Contortionist is that the songs they picked for their set is very, it was not there was very little bits of aggressiveness. There was very little parts of actual growling and getting heavy and crazy. It was more of the melodic and very peaceful side. And I'm not saying that's bad, because a lot of music I listen to has those moments, but it felt like it was too much, and it just didn't fit right, because the Safety Fire came out and did a lot of aggressive type tracks and really did get the crowd pumped through some moments, but not enough to fully get the crowd loving the Safety Fire. But the Contortionists felt like they were giving too much melody and too much peaceful, because parts of the time when these melodic peaceful stuff's going on, I'm looking around, because I'm kind of in the back of the place, because I'm basically don't want to get in, with all these crazy people, because soon up, when I talk about the Faceless, you'll understand why. I just felt like, I just looked around, and people just felt like they were bored, because they were just standing around checking their phones, and they weren't really paying attention to the show. So, but other than that, I think the Contortionist did a good job, but I felt like the songs they picked was probably not the best for this type of show. But I mean, for what they did, I think it was good, but you could tell the crowd wasn't really into it as much as they should have been. So the Faceless, I've not seen the Faceless live. I actually missed them last year, because they came by here with another band. So I missed them, but they did an amazing show. They opened the show with Crate from Autotheism. They played the first 3 tracks from Autotheism. The Crate something something. I don't know what they're called, but I remember them, hearing it and all that stuff, and it was really cool to open the show. They played some more stuff out of Autotheism, and they closed the show with Xenochrist, which really got the crowd going. And how I was saying how it's kind of in the back of the room. The reason why is because usually in the middle of the room randomly, mosh pit will start. And me as a metal person, a person who loves metal and all that stuff, I'm not particularly a fan of mosh pits because I'll explain more as we get into Between the Bear and Me and more into the Faceless. So the mosh just started. And what happened is that it gets really crazy, and there's that border where people are not a part of it, but they're on the edge, and they can't really move because there's a lot of people around. Well, the thing is that these moshes get kind of crazy, and so people get thrown and slammed into people, and that's why I was kind of a few people back, a lines back from that because I don't want to be a part of that. I'm here to enjoy the music. I'm here to not be stupid. I mean, of course I'll get into the music, but I don't want to go start hitting people and being childish. I think moshing is just something that people like to get their anger out, but I'm there to enjoy the music. So if you're a fan of moshing and that you take offense to that, sorry, but that's how I feel. I'm here to enjoy the show. But so that was happening, and then a guy got his leg hurt pretty bad. They had to drag him out, and then another person basically kept falling several times, and people just was basically just throwing everybody into other people, and it was just ridiculous. But regardless of that, the Faceless did an amazing job. They did a great set. Xenocry sounded amazing. All the stuff from Monotheism was really good. Their bass player was not there, so they had to overdub the bass player's parts. I'm not sure why he's not there, but the bass parts were getting overdubbed while they were doing the live show, and they were really into it. They sounded amazing. The drummer, his double bassing was so loud, and every time he hit that bass drum or did all the kicks were basically you could just feel them in your heart, just like bam, 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 all these things you could just feel. It's crazy. It had the ground shaking. The Faces did good, but I was waiting for Between the Bear and Me to show up because this is the third time I've seen straight up my words, sorry. This is the third time I've seen them live. I saw them in 2009, October 31st on Halloween, performing for the very first time live that I'm 99% sure I'm correct. The first time live, The Great Misdirect in its entirety. So I only knew like one song or two songs before they performed that album in its entirety, so we were just kind of standing around. But it was an amazing first experience of Between the Bear and Me. 2011, they performed the Parallax Hypersleep Dialogues EP, and then this year, of course, they're performing Parallax 2 Future Sequence in its entirety. And wow, me and this guy I was just talking to, meeting there right before Between the Bear and Me went on, we were so into it. We loved every single moment. I was singing every single part throughout the whole entire album. It was just an amazing experience. The band sounded alive and fresh, and they just sounded just amazing. I don't know how to say it. They just felt like their top form. It's the best performance I've seen them, and this is the third time, and I'm hoping that each time they come back to my area that they improve. But man, like that show was amazing. And what really just made the show a little bit better is they have these two projectors that are on the left and right behind the drummer, and they're like white circles. And what happens is if you have the actual CD, you open up and you see the lyric books, and you see there's a picture that goes along with that song in the lyric book that shows the lyrics for that track. They showed the actual pictures that were from the album artwork that was going alongside with song lyrics of that particular song, and they'd be moving, and then whenever the next song hits, the picture changes. And so it was something to add to the show, and so that really made it more amazing. And they played the album exactly like it is live. That is the thing I love about Between the Bear and Me so much. When they perform album in its entirety or the EP in its entirety, they play it exactly like it does on the album. All the drum parts, every little bitty thing is exactly from the album played live. So that's an amazing thing to do. So, of course, they went off stage at the ending of the album and came back and performed White Walls. And here's a quick story I'm going to give you guys, because White Walls is not just another Between the Bear and Me song. It's a moment I've been waiting for 4 years. In 2009, when I first saw them live, they performed Selkies as an encore, the Selkies Endless Obsession, and White Walls. But see, in the middle of White Walls, midnight hit. And at this time in 2009, I did not have my after nines, so or I wasn't able to drive. I couldn't drive at all. So because parking in this venue is terrible. So my mom dropped me off and said, by midnight we're picking you up, because I was with a friend, And so in the middle of White Walls, I got a text saying I have to leave. So I missed the 4-minute epic solo ending from Dusty and Paul from Between the Baron and Me, the ending 4-minute solo bits of White Walls. So I was so mad. So 4 years later, I finally get to experience that moment, or those 4 minutes of epic soloing at the end. It was an amazing ending to the concert. The band did amazing. I end up buying the Hypersleep Dialogues Parallax EP and a shirt to go along with that as well. And man, I just can't wait till they come back. And so I'm just really stoked. I'm still pumped from that show, even though it was yesterday. So that's the review, guys. Thank you guys for watching. That's the concert review. Amazing show. Next month in November, Trivium will be stopping by in my area. So that'll be the second time I saw them live. The first time I saw them was right before Shogun was released. So back when they had long hair and all that good stuff. They were promoting the upcoming release of Shogun. So can't wait to see that. But anyways, guys, that's the review for the concert. It was an amazing experience. If you have the opportunity to ever see Between the Baron and Me live, or the Faceless, or any of those bands, I recommend go checking them out. So thank you guys for watching. See ya.